I held a dripping kitchen rag in my hand while staring at a message that felt like a trap set years ago. My younger sister Taryn did not ask how I was doing or even say hello before declaring she was quitting her job. She casually insisted I would cover all her living expenses while she figured things out. For the first time in 30 years I finally typed back 4 simple words saying that is not my responsibility. Before we dive into the rest of this wild story, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss another intense story. For as long as I can remember, I was designated as the glue holding my entire family together through every financial storm. At every single holiday dinner, my mother would proudly raise her glass and toast to my unshakable stability. Everyone at the table would smile and clap, but I always knew the secret meaning behind her words. Being the reliable one simply meant I was expected to pay for everyone else's mistakes without ever complaining or asking for help. Inside our 4 walls, every single favor came with a hidden price tag that I was forced to cover. My father would silently slide dinner checks toward my side of the table, while my mother casually brought up Taryn's unpaid bills. Taryn was always considered the creative dreamer, who moved from one reckless venture to another without any financial care. Whenever I tried to express concern, my mother instantly defended her and reminded me that I was the prosperous sibling. My partner Grant was the very first person who saw through their manipulative behavior and tried to open my eyes. He pointed out that my family only showed affection when they needed something paid for or taken care of immediately. I tried to laugh off his blunt warning at first, but his words slowly planted a seed of truth in my mind. Deep down I knew I was funding everyone else's comfort, while quietly draining my own mental energy and personal savings. The breaking point happened during a Sunday dinner that felt like an elaborate performance meant to drain my bank account. Taryn arrived late wearing expensive designer clothes while complaining endlessly about how exhausted she was from working. My mother doted on her every word while I quietly poured the beverages and absorbed the underlying tension in the room. I sat there staring at the restaurant receipt shoved into my purse, wondering how much longer I could survive this endless pressure. A few days later, Taryn casually announced she had quit her position to focus entirely on building her online image. My mother praised her sudden departure as an act of true bravery while ignoring the reality of her unpaid living costs. When Taryn and her arrogant boyfriend mocked my stable office work, I realized they viewed my hard work as nothing more than their funding source. My mother pulled me aside afterward and quietly demanded I take over Taryn's monthly living costs once again. The sudden ping of my telephone early the next morning shattered whatever remaining hesitation I still had left in my heart. Taryn sent 3 rapid messages demanding full support without offering a single word of appreciation or kindness. Reading her harsh words made something snap inside me as I realized my entire adult life had been spent being used. I wiped my hands on a cloth, typed my short refusal, and immediately executed an official employment contract for a job in Ireland. 10 minutes after declining my sister, my mother's phone call flashed across my screen with an aggressive tone. She bluntly warned me that if I refused to fund Taryn, I was completely uninvited from the upcoming family holiday gathering. Instead of breaking down in tears like I usually would, I felt an overwhelming wave of absolute clarity wash over me. I placed my telephone face down on the counter and realized that losing their approval was actually the greatest gift possible. I immediately logged into my online bank accounts and began systematically disconnecting my financial information from their names. I canceled the auto payments for Taryn's monthly bills, removed myself from the family wireless plan, and revoked shared access. An hour later, an audio message arrived from my aunt accusing me of being selfish and demanding I give more to family. I deleted the audio file without listening to the end and continued cutting every single remaining tie with total determination. Later that evening, my entire family launched a group video conference call to confront me together on camera. My mother sat with her arms crossed while Taryn dabbed away fake tears and her boyfriend smirked in the background. My father sternly demanded I sign as a guarantor for a massive $150,000 loan for Taryn. When I calmly refused to take on that immense risk, my mother screamed that I was an ungrateful daughter who ruined everything. I looked directly into the camera and told them that I was done being used as their personal banking institution forever. I explained that setting boundary lines was not an act of hostility, but a necessary step to protect my own life. Taryn yelled that I thought I was better than everyone else, but I simply replied that I was thoroughly exhausted. Before anyone could launch another harsh insult, I ended the call and blocked every single one of their numbers permanently. By the time sunrise broke over the city streets, I was already sitting inside a quiet terminal at the international airport. The constant anxiety that had weighed down my chest for over a decade completely evaporated as my flight was finally announced. As the airplane lifted into the gray sky, I watched my old city disappear beneath thick clouds without feeling a single ounce of regret. I knew the road ahead would be unfamiliar, but for the very first time my life belonged entirely to me. My new apartment across the ocean was simple, quiet, and filled with a sense of freedom I had never experienced before. A week after arriving, I received a hesitant voicemail from my mother admitting that Taryn had finally secured part-time work. They were managing without my money just fine, proving that my financial support had only ever been an easy convenience for them. I closed my journal, wrote a final note declaring my emotional freedom, and settled into the peaceful life I had earned. If you have ever had to make the difficult choice to set strong boundaries with family, leave a comment down below. Also tell me which country you are watching this video from today, because I love seeing where everyone is tuning in from. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to click on the video showing on your screen right now for another incredible story.